Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I have a very exciting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the WE Knives Exciton or Exciton, or I'll let you guys take a look at that word and then you can Google it and look up the pronunciation for yourself. In any case, this is a very, very cool knife. It's in the same family, I have to assume, as the Ziphius, which by now you probably have seen the review. If you haven't, I'll let you know. You can go watch it if you want, but I freaking loved this knife. Absolutely loved it. This knife has even more in terms of what I prefer. So if you don't want to watch the whole video, that's okay, right? If you want to, that's great, right? But I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a really positive knife review. This is a this might be my favorite WE knife of all time. You know, there's definitely been some good stuff that has come out of WE knives. There's no denying that. This thing is freaking spectacular. I'm going to link it right down below so you guys can check it out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks so much to WE Knives for supplying this knife for review. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. It really depends on when you're watching this, but right before I uploaded this or right before I started recording this, I checked on Blade HQ and they are still available there, or there's a couple, so it means that they might still be scattered about at various retailers. But keep in mind, this is a special edition, a limited edition WE knife. This particular model was limited to only 205 pieces versus the Ziphius at 300 and something. So just letting you know, they won't be available forever. Let's go ahead and measure it. Overall length, I'm just going to call it the Exciton because it sounds cooler, even if that's wrong, right? I don't care. That's just what I'm going to say. Overall length is a really impressive 8.6 inches. Blade length is about, it really depends on where you measure it. If you measure it to this little tipperoo right there, why am I saying that? 3.65. If you measure down here to this little, you know, dingly-dangly, whatever you want to call that, you're probably looking at closer to about 3.85 inches, honestly. So it's somewhere in there. Cutting edge is about 3.35 inches, not quite 3.5. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons up against the Ontario Rat Model 1 and the Ontario Rat Model 2. So you can see here, this is every bit of a full-size knife. You know, I mean, this vast majority of people are going to describe it that way. Let's go ahead and put it up against the Demco AD 20.5. There we go. How about up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3? I do not know why I am doing the staccato thing this morning. So, sometimes I just like, there's like new habits just pop up out of nowhere, right? Yeah, that's an old habit. But sometimes I develop new habits. I'm not really sure where they come from. How about up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue and the Benchmade Bug Out? Alrighty. How's the action? Is it the same as the Ziphius? Yes, it is. It is exactly the same. And if you didn't watch the Ziphius video, I said that it's very easy to assume that once you've handled one button lock, you've handled them all, right? You know what they feel like. I would think that too. In fact, I did as a knife reviewer who has probably reviewed, I don't know, like 50 or 60 button locks from various brands. They're just all over the place. I thought, yeah, now it's going to be more of the same. No. These knives, something about what they're doing is different. Not just the depression of the button or the action like the swinging into the close position, but the actual feeling of, it feels like a ceramic ball detent. Both of these knives. Both of them. It's crazy. It feels so crisp. And then when you actually launch it, oh boy. There's really no way. I mean, I think really the major benefit with this guy, and they both work perfectly. This is going to come down to preference, right? And we should have done a size comparison with these two. They are the same. Are they the same? Are they? Now hold on a second. I'm imagining it. It's because the camera's at an angle, right? Both of these knives No, 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 no. No, 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 no. 8.75. Boy, now this one feels like it's coming in. Yeah, I think for some reason the Exciton or Exciton is a hair shorter, right? But they certainly do look, and yeah, you know what? I'm not, they're the same. It's the same, right? Both of these have the same release and, feeling of detent, right? This one has the added benefit of having the little deployment hole, which is in exactly the right place. To me, this is slightly better. This is just my preference. And I also like that I can still get at this easily while I'm wearing gloves. I can get to a thumb stud, right? I can. I just got to fight it a little bit more. This guy, not so much. Both of these deploy in a more satisfying way than any other button lock that I have ever handled. And it's not a kind of foggy, wishy-washy, like, well, it might be better. No, it's definitively, in my opinion, my experience with this and however many other button locks, and I've handled all the good ones and all the budget ones, right? I mean, not every single one, but all the popular ones at least. This is better. Whatever WE is doing, it's better. It's phenomenal. Placement of the hole, the detent, strength, the flipper tab shape, position, all of that. Boy, this is good. A lot of people will enjoy that element alone, right? Okay, carry profile, thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's actually a little bit thinner. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. This guy's about the same overall length closed as the PM2. It might be just a hair longer, but height-wise, it really isn't anywhere near as tall as either of them. And so the fact that it is a little bit thinner is going to make a lot of people happy. I'm going to go ahead and do a hardware check. Before I do that, I did, this one's exactly the same as the Ziphius. In that video, I took the pocket clip off to see if it was actually nested into the carbon fiber here, which would mean no mounting position on the other side. And it, in fact, was nested, which means you cannot flip this over. I mean, you honestly might be able to just force it and have it sit right on top of the carbon fiber, but the reason that's a problem is because it's got one screw, which means there is absolutely nothing holding it in place. It is not captive. With it being nested on this side, one screw is fine because the pocket clip is captive, right? So the only way to keep it from moving around is to crank that screw down as hard as you possibly can, which is not a good idea. So it's safe to say this is a right hand only knife because of where the pocket clip is. Unless you're lefty and you don't care about the pocket clip, in which case you can take it off and just let it flop around and, do flips and crap in your pocket or whatever you like, right? It's yours. You bought it. You do whatever you want. Just be safe. But anyways, let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'm going to get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. I swear to God, I need to have this etched or whatever. T8 for the pivot, and then we have T8 for the body screws. And yes, these are the body screws with no hidden screws underneath because this is a wraparound carbon fiber backspacer. So you have two for the backspacer and the frame on each side, and one of those is the pocket clip screw, making this a super easy knife to take apart. Those plunge locks are not difficult to get back together. That's really great. T8 across the board, good to go. Okay, let's weigh it. Does it weigh any more or less than the Ziphius? I have no idea. Let's weigh it. 3.7 ounces. Very good ratios there considering blade length. And for some reason, 4.6. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's the blade. Why would the blade be heavier? There's nothing here that's a major indicator, right? For whatever reason, this guy is a little bit less, 3.75 ounces. So there you go. It has to be in the blade. That's where all the weight is. That's where all the steel is, right? Okay, last thing. Oh, we need to check blade stock thickness. I would imagine this is exactly the same as the Ziphius. Blade stock thickness coming in at 123. It's probably 125 thousandths. Okay. Whoops. this is the same thing as the Ziphius, but it comes in, well, obviously it comes in different color combinations, but the main difference here is the blade. I mean, there's a couple of other little tiny details. They decided to put little holes right here and then polish the inside of those bowls. I think that's kind of nice. They also put little holes back here on the wraparound backspacer, and I'll let you guys get a look at this if you haven't seen this yet. This is really, really cool. This is one of the elements that I praise the Ziphius for. If you're going to do a special edition knife, you're going to do a limited edition knife, it should have special elements. You can't just make what you always make and then throw a certificate of authenticity in there and charge us an extra $50 or $100, right? Which WE was kind of doing, right? They were making them a little bit more special, but not really that much more special, right? I kind of like these weird elements that we don't normally see. We do not normally see a wraparound carbon fiber backspacer. I am certain that it's not the first time it's been done, but we don't normally see it. And this is cool, right? Add that with the fact that the action is absolutely different than other button locks that I've handled, right? And then you have WE's super high quality fit and finish. You have a milled pocket clip. You have ridiculously just stupid comfortable ergonomics. Both of these knives are just unbelievably comfortable. They took extra care to make sure that all of these edges and corners were chamfered and then chamfered again or radiused, right, for your absolute comfort. I really like the accent lines. It depends on which version of this you get. There was a black and blue one. That one, I knew that one would go quick. The one with the black blade, and then it had the black titanium and the blue outline. Oh boy, that thing was nasty cool. It almost looked like it was glowing, or like it almost looked like these were the blood veins and they were glowing blue. I don't know exactly how to explain that, but man, that was a cool looking one. And this is great too. I like the black and the bronze with the silver bead blast, which is what this is, right? All of them look awesome. I'll say the same thing that I did in the Ziphius review. They have a Damasteel one, and you will pay $300 more for that one. Instead of a carbon fiber wraparound backspacer, you get a titanium wraparound that's been like specially anodized. I really feel like if you're going to charge that much money, you should be adding something a little bit more special, right? Kind of same opinion there. I'd almost rather pay a little bit more and get something like zirconium or actual Timascus, not the anodized titanium that kind of gives off that look. I'd rather get actual Timascus and pay a little bit more. Or I think you should just lower the price, because Damasteel to me is about a $150 upgrade. And the other elements that are included on this, the special editions of the special editions are just not worth that much to me. All right. But we don't have to necessarily judge. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on that one because WE's been doing Damasteel stuff. These are the ones that make the most sense as far as like where your money's going, right? So if you really want that Damasteel one, then you go for it. But I think this is a better buy. Yeah. Ergonomically, it's fantastic. There's a large enough forward choil that it actually works. The jimping up here complements the index finger choke-up position perfectly. The silver bead blast actually looks really good. It just kind of looks like a very low reflectivity tumbled finish, but everything is very consistent and smooth. It doesn't look like a cheap bead blast. It just looks a little bit better. The other nice little surprise here is that this is a drop point blade with a consistent curvature in the edge, but it's actually compound. So we have a hollow grind up front and then a little bit of a flat out here. That's really cool. There is no noticeable, normally we have like a little bit of an angle here. It's like angle. What is an angle? An angle, right? Because it's usually sort of like a mild tanto. No, not here. Consistent belly, meaning you can actually sharpen this and make use of this double grind. It's very thin right here and definitely a little bit thicker out here. Not insanely robust, but a little bit more, right? The blade shape is just stupid utilitarian. Nice flat that carries out maybe 70% the length of the blade. Nice swedge, right? Having all these lines meet up right here. This looks really, really good. Just a really freaking good looking blade, man. And again, it's no reinvention of the wheel. We've seen this blade before. I keep slipping off of that flipper tab. And you know what's funny is like the detent's not heavy, but it's enough there that you really can get bam, you really can get a lot of freaking power off of these things. And it feels good. It feels like the right amount of energy transfer, I guess, from your finger into the blade, especially when you do the reverse flick. this is, man, they really got this. And it's, it's pretty traditional lines. These are very traditional, straightforward knife lines. It's not like, this is the first time we've ever seen this blade shape or this handle shape. No. Are you kidding me? How many knives can you think of right now that have this, essentially this handle shape? How many knives can you think of right now that have this blade shape? They just got the right combination of stuff, added some really cool design features without going too crazy, right? And then they slap that action on there. Just slap down like a peanut butter caked canoe paddle on a fresh ham. Just slapped it down. What am I talking about? This is a good knife. Transition from the titanium to the carbon fiber is fantastic. Just like the Ziphius, it's just perfect. The carbon fiber itself is also very high quality and not that poopy, shiny stuff that we see on inexpensive knives. Like this stuff. Looks good. It looks real. Doesn't look like somebody glued it together in a third grade art class, right? Sorry, third graders. I needed a reference point. So I kind of threw you under the bus there. There is a lanyard hole in this one. Is there in this one? Oh, yeah. Okay. I kind of prefer, I didn't notice that. I prefer how they did it here on this guy. They put it right at the butt, whereas this guy goes through the butt. This is a vertical butt hole. This is a horizontal butt hole. I wonder if they'll demonetize this video for me saying that. I tried to space it out. I guess we'll find out, right? Absolutely perfect centering on this, as is the case with the Ziphius. The rest of the action, the rest of the elements here are the same as well. Absolutely, completely, and totally solid lockup. No stick off the button. No pivot lash. Very smooth and consistent in here. Just a nice click into the closed position. And no detent lash. These are both great. They made this one more limited, and honestly, my favorite of the two is this guy, but I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm keeping both of these in my collection. A lot, when retailers send me stuff, that's the benefit of being a knife reviewer, right? Main thing here is you always have to be honest. A free knife will not buy a positive review on this channel, and I have tons. And when I say tons, I mean hundreds of negative reviews on pocket knives that were sent to me for free. So if you are questioning that, I get it. You got to do your due diligence, but I got receipts. Feel free to check out those videos. They're there, right? A lot of them actually came from WE. But when I, get a knife from a retailer or an OEM, it's mine to do with whatever I want with it, right? I can keep it, I can sell it, I can give it away. Most of the time I opt to give it away because I have a lot of knives, right? It's pretty rare that I will love something so much. Anymore. As a knife collector who has, I don't know, 140 knives, right? You get less impressed with stuff over time. That's the natural progression of things. So it's rare that I will keep the stuff. I like to give it. I like to do giveaways on the weekends. I do that on live streams. You guys know that, right? And a lot of the giveaway items are stuff that I got for free. Every now and then I keep stuff, and I'm keeping both of these. It is super rare that I actually keep a WE knife that was sent in. They send me tons of stuff. It's super rare. It's either something that I like and give it away, or something that I don't like and I give it away anyway, right? It's very rare that I keep. I think the last thing that I kept was the Vision R from WE. I don't know how many knives I've received since then. So if that's any indicator as to how much I like these knives, then there you go, right? Maybe that means nothing to you, and that's fine. You make your own decision there. The only downside is the same downside as the Ziphius. It's freaking expensive. And there's a lot of cool elements here, but you are definitely paying the collector's tax there. $343, $345 for each of these base price. That's high. This feels like the Ziphius, about a $300 knife. But they're limited. You're going to pay that extra amount. Something tells me these are going to be popular well after they're gone. Then again, something also tells me that WE is going to capitalize on the popularity of these models and continue to make things in the same family, which could potentially drive the secondary market of these things down. Why am I telling you this? Because these knives are absolutely collector's items. I have to review them for what they are. For people looking for a utilitarian cutting object and looking for the most competitive thing at $350, this isn't it. It's just got that super cool factor, right, that people are willing to pay more money for. If you are a collector and you are a big-time enthusiast of specifically the elements that I outlined in this video, you're going to love this. You're going to throw $350. You're going to put $350 in a cannon and fire it at this thing, right? You're not even going to care. For people looking for dollar for dollar, like the best utility and the best feeling this or that, right? I mean, it's like I always say, the point of diminishing returns is right around $180 now in the pocket knife world. So you can spend under $200 and get something that is just as good as this with arguably, elements that are just as interesting. It depends on what you like, right? So yeah, this is more of a collector's item that is also extremely functional and durable, right? But it's the collectors who are going to like this. So for that reason, it's not something that I can openly recommend to everybody. It's not going to go on that playlist. But it's going to go on my favorite knives of all time playlist for the same reason that the Ziphius made it. It's just really freaking cool. And I happen to be a collector/enthusiast, right? This is my kind of thing. I like to see these elements. And I'll say this again for this video. This is the kind of stuff that people want to see on your limited edition stuff. The stuff that comes with the certificate of authenticity. They want to see something different. They want to see something unique, at least within your own line. It doesn't have to be the first time that anybody's ever done it in the entire knife world. No, but make it different from your line, the stuff that you normally do. These are different enough, especially with the wraparound carbon fiber backspacer. Those are cool elements, right? Couple that with the action, the superb fit and finish that you get with all WE knives, and the really, really cool styling, right? Special finishes, special polishes, those are good ideas. Obviously, special materials, definitely a good idea. There are two in the past. The special edition stuff that you guys have released have been way too close to your regular premium knives, but they're just a lot more money. And, I've always felt that the standard premium stuff was a bit high, right? Maybe I'm getting a little bit picky and grouchy, right? I mean, I've been reviewing knives for 5.5 years now, but I like WE knives. I'm a big fan. I just want to see them hit the mark with these different categories instead of like this foggy kind of, I want it to be like, this is obviously more money because of this element, right? Even if this thing is a bit high, I get it, right? I want to be clear about that. So, very cool. This is my favorite of the two, this one up here, but they're both excellent, and hopefully you can still get them by the time you're watching this video. Again, they're going to be linked right down below. I'll link both of these because they're both really, really good. Thanks again. We forgot to keep the star of the show out here. Thanks again to WE Knives for sending this in for me to take a look at. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do of course have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.